you go outside and stand in the sun, just because you're soaking up those rays that are then converting vitamin D in your body, it doesn't mean that a person on the other side of the world is not going to also get the same rays and convert vitamin D. It is
Right.
absolutely limitless. There is no pie. I mean, have we ever run out of petrol? They keep saying,
Mhm.
but have we ever? Have we ever run out of air?
Welcome
No.
to another session of Ask Me Anything with me, Bawana from Get Coached NZ. This is the place where all the fabulous life and business coaches in New Zealand are hanging out. And my guest today is a serial entrepreneur. She is a lady who can totally rock hot pink. She's the lady who is not afraid to speak her mind out. She's the lady who is here to inspire and empower women in business. Please welcome my guest, business coach Michelle Clark. It's so nice to have you here, Michelle. Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's so lovely to be here.
So, Michelle, you have been in the entrepreneurial space for like 25 years and counting. Like you had your first company when you were 26. Like, what was I doing when I was 26? I don't even know you had a company. So, and now you are in this coaching space for about a decade now. So tell us a little bit about your backstory. Like, how did you start off as a 26-year-old entrepreneur, and how did you get into this coaching space now? Tell us something about your story. Yeah.
Well, I guess the entrepreneurial journey really started for me when I was 9. I had my first business when I was 9, selling eggs to my parents' tea shop. And I've just been addicted to making money and business plans and proposals, and I've just always done it. I actually bought my first real business when I was 18 and living in Australia.
Wow.
Um, Nightmare. Employed all these staff, didn't know how to do it. Like I've made every single business mistake you could ever possibly imagine.
Mm-hmm. Right. And that
And
is where you learn from, isn't it?
exactly it is. And I didn't get my master's in business administration until I was in my 30s.
Right.
And my coaching journey really started when I was working in corporate, I suppose, when I was managing big colleges and I was, of course, mentoring staff. And it just kind of moved from there into corporate coaching. So that's where my coaching kind of started. But what I'm most passionate about is getting women entrepreneurs to show up, the ones that are breaking ground, doing something different, really changing the way that the world is. And there's no support for them. There's plenty of support for corporate women, right? Like it's not easy. I'm
Yes.
not dismissing it. It's not easy, but there's plenty of support for them. But for solopreneurs, it's just so difficult.
Yes, totally can relate to that. Being a girl myself who's just quit everything and starting in this business, I can so totally relate because business is like bloody hard work.
Sure.
And all that engineering degree and all that experience did not prepare me for this. So yeah, I think so. The work that you're doing is absolutely great to be available for people like us who are starting out. And now you say you are a holistic business coach. And now for mere mortals like me who's still figuring it all out. So what is the difference between a holistic business coach and a regular business coach? Just a business coach.
I absolutely resist labels. Like I absolutely hate them. But business coach doesn't fit what I do because I work in mindset, I work in money mindset, I work in health, like I have a massive back history in health. So I work on the whole person. So holistic to me means the whole person. So when I coach you in business, you get empowered and therefore your relationships become empowered. Therefore you feel like you're worth having a smoking hot body. Like it changes your whole life. And I'm also a trained life coach. So I can't just stick to my knitting and just work on your business, because if your relationships are tanking or you don't have boundaries, then you're not going to have the energy you need to grow your business. So I kind of have to do it all at once. That's how I get the results that I get.
Yeah.
Like, I think I get the results because I smash together strategy with mindset and also the energetics work. So I get a little bit woo-woo as well, but also because I work on life and business together. You actually can't separate them. So
Right.
I'm yet to come up with a label that fits me, but oh my God, I would love it if someone would make me a label that fitted.
Right, right. Yeah, and like you say, I think I did a post on your you mentioned about, having strategy and mindset together. And I think I did an Instagram post stating that. And I love how you say, and as they say, it's 80% mindset and 20% strategy. And I think this is where a lot of women suffer from. Like, they might be the brightest and have the best of the strategy, but that imposter syndrome and, that perfectionism all comes in, and then you kind of feel like, oh, I'm not good enough, and you kind of start playing small. So from your experience as a coach for so many years, what are the other mindset issues that women suffer from?
Definitely money mindset. Like, men and women are taught to think differently about money.
Right.
Like, even my parents had a poor money mindset, really. Even though
Yes.
they had money, they still, didn't like the man and, wealthy people. And,
Yes.
growing up in the 80s, we got all of these messages. And as
Right.
women, we thought, it's better to be kind than wealthy and all of those things. But why is it either or? You can be kind and wealthy.
Yeah.
Look at Oprah earning all that money and doing all those amazing things. You don't, it's not either or.
Exactly. Yeah. And I love that. And yeah, what I love about your work, firstly, I must say that you totally rock that hot pink again. Like, I love it.
It's a hot pink today now.
Yeah. But love it in your logo and your brand colors and your messaging and all that. And I love that vibe about you. So I was just thinking, in this time when we are all talking about authenticity, and I think your social media posts with your unicorn floaty and all that, you're like so authentic. So how do you build, or how does one build that confidence to show up as themselves?
And honestly, that authenticity is the key to happiness, and it is the key to business success. If it's not until you actually own who you are that you'll be an energetic match for success. And then the clients are just magnetized to you. People say to me, where do all your clients come from? I don't know. They just find me. Like, it's not even one strand, or it's not what I do on social media. I don't turn up on social media to get clients. I turn up because I have a lot to say.
Yes.
And people connect to that realness, right? And the way to connect to your realness is to stop following other people. Ditch everyone off your social media. Everyone that when you open it up, you're like, oh, they're doing better than me. Delete, right? Like, you're not finding your own authentic voice when you're continually watching other people's, reading books and listening to podcasts and watching Facebook. Like, it's the fastest way to get imposter syndrome. When people coach with me, I ban them from answering emails or getting on social media till lunchtime. Right. And I would highly recommend that for everybody. Right? Like, my clients know, don't email me before lunchtime because you're just not going to get a reply. So if you dive into something else, then you can't be your own authentic self, because there's all these other messages and layering and triggers and mindset and stuff that's layered all over top of you. So the way to find your authentic voice is probably three things, really. Create silence, so deleting all those social media people that you're following. Creating space. You're not going to find out who you really are until you get rid of the overwhelm, because while you're in overwhelm, you're flooded with adrenaline, right? You're in fight or flight. So of course, when you're in fight or flight, all of the energy goes to your muscles. So there's nothing for digestion, and there's nothing for your brain. You cannot connect to your real self when you're in fight or flight. So in order to have more peace in your life, you must have space. What is the first thing that you do when you get up in the morning? I bet you 50% of the people watching this, the first thing they do is check their phone. The absolute worst thing you can do for authenticity. Get up and do some yoga, or get up and do some meditation, or get up and walk the dog, or snuggle the dog, or get up and journal. And the best way to authentic message when you're doing your social media is to get up, do some yoga, or read your goal, or connect to your client avatar, find some way to hook into your dream, and then journal, and then answer this journal prompt. What my tribe needs to hear from me today is, and whatever pops out. If it pops out that they need to drink more water, but you're a business coach, it doesn't matter. Talk about drinking more water and then relate that to how that's going to grow their business. It doesn't matter what the message is. If you just speak that message, you will always be authentic.
Oh, that's such a great tip for like people who are running around. What should I post about today?
For God's sakes, do not schedule your social media posts or like have, this is what I'm going to say on this day. It just falls flat.
Right. Oh,
There's no energy to it. You've got to be an energetic match for the success.
yeah. Wow. That was a completely different way of looking at it, because I'm like, I'm just learning things, and I'm like, oh yeah, suppose you schedule your 3 months, and I'm like, how do you even have the time to schedule 90 days of social media posts? I don't know how they do it. But I must admit, yes, I do schedule like at least a month of my work, so that gives me like less overwhelmed, like, oh no, oh my god, what am I going to talk about? But I think what you said is so fantastic, getting up in the morning, journaling about what you're going to do.
So
Yeah.
you can schedule your social media contents. Like, let's say you've got a launch coming up, I'd absolutely schedule all my social media posts for that, and then over the top of that, I'd do my soul messaging.
Right. Right. And is this the kind of work you do in, I know you have the Abundance Academy. Is this the kind of work that you do in there?
Yeah, this is the kind of work that I just can't resist doing. So we
Right.
always do strategy. I mean, you need strategy. I'm never going to say you don't need strategy, because
Yeah.
absolutely you need strategy. You've got to have game, right? But
Yes.
it's got to be your game, not someone else's game.
Right.
But yeah, 80% of it's definitely mindset work, because if you don't believe that you're worthy of the success, then you're not. It doesn't matter what strategy you have, you're not going to be an energetic match for success.
Right.
And then the other part of it is all about the energetics, about making it magic, about bringing the energy, about what to say.
Right. Okay, for somebody who's like me, just starting out and still trying to match that energy, like you say, let's make it a tiny coaching session. So what would be the small steps that they could take today or in a week's time to kind of get things in place, to kind of get it going, to get immediate small wins?
That's such a broad question, and see, it really depends, because you really need to look at the business as a whole. Is it that you don't have enough time? Is it that you've got imposter syndrome? Is it that your offers aren't tight? Is it that your messaging is off? Is it, like, it could be so many things.
Right.
So you
So
really
it's
need to look
firstly
at
identifying what the issue is. Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And for that, maybe you need to sit down and meditate and
Yeah, or have a chat to me. Like, everyone can have a free chat with me. I do loads and loads of free talks, of free content. You can have a free, no obligation chat with me to figure out where your actual problem is. And I'll tell you the best thing to do. So everyone, has that ability to book that in with me. But I guess if you don't want to book it in with me, or there's some reason that you can't book that chat in with me, then the way to figure out, the trouble is you don't know what you don't know, right?
exactly.
That's why you need the coach. Like, it's just impossible. Even for me, I mean, I have coaches as well. You can't figure out what you don't know on your own. It's just the way it is.
And especially when something is so close to you, you don't see it. It's a blurry vision issue, I think. Yeah.
But I will, because I do want to answer your question, and I do want to give people a tip. Like, what is the best thing that they can do to get started? The best thing that you can do is figure out the number one thing that will move you towards your goal. If you don't have a goal, then, I mean, that would have to be number one, right? You cannot grow a business without a goal.
Yes. But the audience that we have here are women in business. So I would think they pretty much would have a goal that they're working towards. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So then the number one step would be to figure out what is the one area that you want to focus on to get you towards that goal. And then take one tiny action towards that every day, and do that before you do anything else. Do it before you even clean your teeth or get out of your pajamas, because you will be the bravest you ever are in the morning before you start getting imposter syndrome and watching all that crap on social media.
Right. Yeah. You remind me of that book that I read, Eat That Frog. It's like, what is the hardest thing that you find? You do it first. And like I said, as scary as may sound, before your imposter syndrome drowns you, you just go and do that. But it is hard. Yeah. But like I say, yes, tiny steps.
Yep. And 30 seconds of insane bravery.
Yeah.
If you commit to just 30 seconds of insane bravery, you can navigate imposter syndrome. Feel the fear and do it anyway. I mean, there's still stuff that I do in my business that petrifies me. If I wasn't feeling scared, then I would know that I wasn't growing.
Right. That's a really good way of looking at fear. Yeah, and I read somewhere that fear and excitement is the same thing. You know, it's kind of the same signal to your brain, but it's just that we label it as fear. So making fear your friend, I think, is the way to go. But I think that's a different topic altogether. Yeah. Talking about mindset issues again, we hear a lot about having an abundance mindset. And I know you do work on that as well. What I know is, yes, having an abundant mindset is like, yeah, the pie is big enough for everybody, and but what is the work that you do in this space? I mean, as a coach, what is having an abundance mindset?
Having an abundance mindset is all about trust. It's all about trusting that there is enough. So that statement, the pie is big enough for everyone. There is no pie. Like, it's limitless, like the ocean. Just because if you go outside and stand in the sun, just because you're soaking up those rays that are then converting vitamin D in your body, it doesn't mean that a person on the other side of the world is not going to also get the same rays and convert vitamin D. It is absolutely limitless. There is no pie. I mean, have we ever run out of petrol? They keep saying, but have we ever? Have we ever run out of air? There is no limit.
Right. That's such a brilliant way of looking at it. I love the solar example. Yeah, because yeah, we tend to, like you say, we discussed, to tend to look at somebody else's social media feed and, oh, they're doing this already, and oh, I'm not there yet, and we suffer from that a lot. And what does abundance look like in money? Let's talk the dirty word now.
Yeah. I love talking about money because it triggers people, and that's great, right? Because you've got to move past it. And
Yes.
we resist money because of the way that we think about money. And if money could talk, it would tell you that it's so sad that you're hating on it, because it's like, but I'm just energy. Like,
Right.
and when I come to you, I can, you can do more things, you can be more fun. And if you're more fun, you're more sparkly, you're a better mum, you're a better business owner, you're a better wife, you're just better to be around. You're putting out these great vibes that are healing the earth, you're showing up for your clients, you can give to charity. Why would you not want to be wealthy? Why would you not want to be wealthy? That's a great journal prompt, by the way.
Yeah.
What is stopping me from being a wealthy person?
Is it your beliefs about money?
Yeah. Just this morning in my business acceleration club, I did 2 money mindset things for them. I took them through an exercise that helped them to see how they think about wealthy people. Super powerful. And once you've got that under your belt, then you can figure out, what you need to do to solve that. And then we did a money love exercise where we completely flip the relationship that they have with money, and they read that every day for 6 months. And just that alone, like, even if they took no other actions in their business, just doing that money mindset work will grow their wealth.
Wow. Yeah. I think a lot of women like shy away from talking about money, like, and talking numbers. It's just a lot of women say like, oh, I'm not good with numbers at all. And they just shy away from it. Yeah, so I don't know what that is, but do you think it's something that we've been taught as women to? Is it because of the patriarchal society, like because women were not earning earlier, and it's
and it's also that I'm not good with numbers. So men are good at maths.
Yes.
Right? And women aren't. I mean, clearly I don't believe that, but that's the way that it was, right? There were certain jobs that women were not allowed to apply for in the past because they didn't have a maths brain. Like, even though that's no longer said to us, we're still living in a society with that underlying current of things. Women are nurturing, men are the breadwinners, women care for other people, and they work in this energy space, and men work with hard numbers. Like, there's just all these perceptions that we're constantly fighting with. Like, oh, Michelle, nobody likes a bossy woman, and you don't want to be all about money, all those stories,
right?
When different voices, because that's someone else saying it to me, right? Like, those are the types of messages that I heard as a kid.
Right. Yeah. And I know, like, some women find money overpowering. Like, even when they have it, like, they're like, oh, no, but I don't want it. Like, So
I see this all the time. Sometimes I help women to massively increase what they're earning, and then they start giving it away and giving discounts because they just can't cope with it, because they don't want to be a wealthy person. In their head, they have a mindset block because they think wealthy people are ugly, dirty, nasty people. I mean,
right.
think about the statement "filthy rich."
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
to be rich?
Yeah. Well, unless you make money, I think we're getting to that slowly, that you need money to create that difference that you want to, like for me personally, I started my first business, which didn't take off. And as you know, I'm from a remote Himalayan little village, so the first business that I did was solely to promote some livelihood, an opportunity for my community to make money. And um, that was the reason why I started it, and obviously it didn't take off thanks to COVID. We won't go there, but that's what one thing that made me realize is that I needed to have money to actually let somebody else make money. And I think that's where my money mindset got corrected. And I felt like, okay, I need to make money, and I'm going to be okay with, earning money. Um, and then I know there are some people who are in the other extreme. Yes, they make money, but they're too afraid to lose it.
Yes,
Right?
exactly. That's another money mindset. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how they get there. Perhaps you do, but my question
Well,
would be,
there's two ways to make money. I mean, yes, you can make money from hustling. Like, you can scale pretty much any business to six figures in 6 months through hustle, right? But if you want to get past the six figures, you need energetics and you need beliefs. So you can still make money with a shitty mindset, and people do all the time.
yeah,
And
yeah,
if you're investing wisely, like maybe they have a growth mindset for money, but
right,
they have a poor mindset around their acceptance of using the money to have a happy life. So there's always multiple things at play, right? They might feel worthy of the money, but they don't feel worthy of happiness. So they can amass the fortune, but they can't spend it to make themselves happy.
right. So, yeah, my question would be, as a woman in business, how can we make money our friend? Like, what would be the basic thing to do to make money our friend? Not be so afraid to spend it, and not be too wild to, like, just lose it all. Like, how can you dance with money?
Yeah, there are so many ways. In fact, I made a course, and maybe I'll offer it to anyone watching this at half price, right? It's already really
Wow.
cheap anyway. I
Mhm.
think at half price it'll be like $29, but it's basically 30 days of money mindset hacks, ways to make you love money. So by the time you get to the end of the 30 days for
Yeah.
$29, like, yes, I love money and I'm going to let it in, because it's
Wow.
not a one time thing. You need to I still work on money mindset. I still get to the next point where I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to make that many $1,000 this week. And I'm like, ugh. Like, you're always
Yes.
going to get to the next level where
Yes.
we continually work on feeling worthy of accepting it. But the
Mhm.
best way to start loving money is treat it better. Like, talk about it. If you want to grow your wealth, start talking about money. I challenge anyone watching this to have one money conversation a day.
Right. Oh, good. That's a great tip. Yeah, that's what that's a great tip. I'm going to go to my husband and talk about money.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. Um, yeah, you talked about energetics. I think you just used that word a couple of times. And you are a high energy person. Um, how does it fit in? How does energetics fit in whatever we discussed? With the money mindset, with having no imposter syndrome, abundance mindset, and actually owning a business. So, and I think energetics is a thread that's weaving all of them, from my
Yeah.
understanding of talking to you right now.
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah, tell us
quite
more.
difficult to explain. It kind of really is a pyramid. You need the aligned actions and the strategies. You
Mhm.
need the mindset to back it up. And the energetics is kind of, how do I explain energetics? It's so difficult. It really is the energy. Like, if you're full of energy, whatever you do will be full of energy and people will be attracted to that energy. So it's kind of magic, if you like. Like when people think of woo-woo and magic, this is what it is. Like it's the energetics of it. So it's like manifesting that you're going to win lotto, right? Like it's the power, it's the energy of it. But a lot of women in business are tired because they're trying to be the mum and the wife and the friend and the business owner, and they're trying to do it all, and they've got all these shitty mindsets all over the top, which is making them feel terrible. Then they're putting terrible foods into their body, and then they're not exercising, and then they're getting overwhelmed and they're stressed, so their energy is off. So when they, even if they have the best strategy in the world, and even if their mindset's kind of okay, the energy is off, which is frustrating, right? Like I'm telling them you need all three things all balanced, which is just adding more overwhelm. I get it. But this is the key to success, is that you have to have all three of those things. But we work 80% in strategy. We work 10% on mindset, and probably even less. Like, you know, that's terrible maths because that's not going to add up to 100. Yeah. But, you know, most people don't even know about energetics, let alone work on it.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a pretty new term for me as well, you know. So
sometimes the best thing that you can do for your business is to not do any business on that day and go and float on your unicorn in the pool.
Right. Yeah, I must admit, actually, my husband tells me this a lot of times because I'm always running into, you know, personal development myself, and I'm like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that. I mean, he always says, oh, relax, you know, and everything's gonna be fine, and that's how he works. And I say, oh, it's just a male thing. But
does he not know that you should never say to a woman, just relax?
A woman with 2 little kids, no way. Right, okay, that was really interesting on energetics. Yeah, so you talked about having the energetics in place, and, you know, having the mindsets, and you need all that to thrive in a business. So tell us more about what is thriving in a business. Is it something definite, or is it something that's specific to what you call thriving?
Yeah, it's quite a trigger word, thriving, eh? Because what is thriving? And yes, I did an interview for Fox yesterday, and this is what I said when they said, what does success mean to you?
Right.
Success means to me, and I suspect that it'll be the same for everyone watching this, right? Because for entrepreneurs, our highest value is freedom.
Yes.
That's why we're entrepreneurs, right?
Yes.
So for me, success means that I have the freedom to do whatever lights my soul on fire without worrying about the resources, time, energy, money.
Right.
That's to me, that is thriving. Right? If I get to leap out of bed, and I do, my body wakes me up at 4:30 in the morning. My alarm goes off at 5, but at 4:30 I'm like, today I get to do this interview, and, you know, I'm so excited about life.
Yeah.
That for me, what thriving is, because surviving would be getting up and go, oh, shit, I've got to do this interview, and then I've got to do those clients, and then I'd still be making the same amount of money, but that's striving.
Yeah.
Whereas with a happy, energetic, love vibe to it, that's thriving.
I like the different words that you use. You know, I get to do this, and you said I have to do this.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest difference. Like for me with my children, I've realized that, you know, when I say, oh my God, I have to prepare their lunch after, it's always like, oh, like dragging down. But then when you say, oh, I get to do this for them, then it is, yeah. So I think those words that you use are like, yeah.
And don't do the things you don't want to do. Like I didn't enjoy making lunches for people either. So my daughter from 5 years onwards made her own lunch. Don't do the things that you don't want to do.
Right. Good. Oh,
And
I was sending my daughter to you. Go and learn to make your own lunch.
Because I mean, we're raising adults, right? Like, why should a 5-year-old not be able to make their own lunch?
Fair enough. Yeah. Put a sandwich together. That's not too difficult. Super. All right, Michelle, I think it was so great for you to have you here and chat with you. So much knowledge there. And your offer that you're offering for our viewers, that's a 50% off on their money mindset. Yeah. So what do they have to do to redeem it?
where would you like me to put it? Where's a safe place for us to put this so that they can go and access it?
Oh, I will put it on the website itself.
What if they visit my website
Yeah.
and they go to online courses?
Mm-hmm.
They will find Money Love for Entrepreneurs.
Right.
And the code that I've made for them is Money Loves You, all caps, all together, no spaces.
All right, Money Loves You. We'll put you on the notes as well, so that they can get their hands on it and yeah, change their mindset.
I'll email you the link so you've got
Sure.
it.
Yeah, sure. So great to have you here again, Michelle. And you can find Michelle Clark under our list of business coaches and getcoach.co.nz. You will not miss that hot pink logo, pink and gold. But where else can they connect with you, Michelle?
What's that, sorry?
Where else can people connect with you?
Oh, I would love for you to go to my website and click on Get Inspiration from Sparkle Nation. I do lots of free training on my email list, and lots of sparkly affirmations, lots of pink photos. It's just a really good way to keep your vibe up. So if you want to suck into a bit of this energy, that's the best way to do
it. Yeah, which I think is so important. Like I said, I love that vibe that you put out. So super awesome. And thank you again, Michelle.
You are more than welcome. Thank you so much.